Okay, so it has been too long since I've done a Blur reaction slash review. So today we're going to do Blur and Charmless Man. I know one of my last reactions from Blur got like over 1,000 views, which I'm surprised by, and I haven't done a Blur thing since. So yeah, it's been too long since I've even done a Britpop thing. So we're gonna do this today and talk about the song after. I've heard the song, but I've never analyzed the lyrics, and that's what I like to do. So let's just go and hear this Britpop stuff. And Damon Albarn is such a hot man.
I met him in a crowded room,
Piano.
where people go to drink away their gloom. He sat me down and so began the story of a charmless man, educated the expensive way. He knows his Clara from his Beaujolais. I think he'd like to have been running cray, but then nature didn't make him that way. He went na 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 na, na 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 na. He thinks he's educated as those family shares will protect him, will respect him. He moves in circles of friends who just pretend that they like him. He does the same to them, and when you put it all together, there's the model of a charmless man. Na 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 na. He knows the swingers and their cabaret, says he can get in anywhere for free. I began to go a little cross-eyed, and from this charmless man I just had to hide. Na 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 na, na 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 na. He talks at speed, he gets no speeds, he doesn't see his days are tumbling down upon him, and yet he tries so hard to please. He's just so keen for you to listen, but no one's listening. And when you put it all together, there's the model of a charmless man. He thinks he's educated as those family shares will protect him, that you'll respect him, and yet he tries so hard to please. He's just so keen for you to listen, but no one's listening. And when you put it all together, there's the model of a charmless man.
My goodness. Blur and, Charmless Man. My God, I couldn't remember the song for a second. But, my goodness. Sorry, got a little bit of a cold. But anyway, Blur and Charmless Man. I love the intro of the song. I mean, it's just how it builds up and then it pops. And it's just, the whole thing is so good. And while I was listening to it, I never listened to it with like headphones on, which is, I remember when I started out doing reactions, I was doing Tool and stuff, and people were saying to wear headphones. And I never really understood. It's just like, well, it doesn't make a difference. But like, yeah, I mean, wearing headphones, you get so much more of the experience, especially, like, I really appreciated the piano, especially at the start, more than I would if I just heard the song without headphones. And I'm tripping over my words here, but like, Damon's voice, it's so versatile. Yeah, that's a word. And just listening to his voice, I mean, either in Gorillaz or in Blur, and on many different songs. I mean, I was thinking about Beetlebum and how his song, like his voice can go so high and also so deep, like in the Universal. It's just, I don't think he gets enough credit for his vocals, especially because Blur and Oasis were so big in the mid 90s. 1995 was the Battle of Britpop. And I mean, it's well, both bands were so good. I mean, I like Oasis, one of my favorite bands, and I like them more than Blur. But yeah, I mean, I feel like Damon doesn't get the credit he deserves on his voice, and Blur as a whole. I mean, Oasis won that war, whatever, but Blur is still so good. And yeah, so that's just my little rant. I'll get off my soapbox now. So anyway, the song Charmless Man, I'll read the bio on it on Genius.com. So this is the fourth and final single from The Great Escape, described by Damon Albarn as the end of something. It was the end of British pop. My goodness. For us, anyway. Okay. It is supposedly about Suede frontman Brett Anderson. I did a Suede song a long time ago. I forgot. I don't know. I forgot about Suede. My gosh. Who used to date Albarn, Albarn's then girlfriend, Justine Frischman, and with whom Albarn had a rivalry with in the 90s. So he had quite a lot of rivalries in the 90s. The song's title is a nod to This Charming Man by the Smiths. Okay, so yeah, I didn't really even make that what's it called? That link. I guess so. This charming man, charmless man. Yeah, I get it. Okay, that's pretty cool. Since I listen to a lot of the Smiths on this channel as well. So anyway, talking about the first verse here, I met him in a crowded room where people go to drink away their gloom. My goodness. This is an accurate description of a bar. It's a big room full of people there to ingest alcohol, to intoxicate their minds, and not be able to think of their sadness. And then we go on, educated the expensive way. The charmless man comes from a wealthy stock and was able to afford a top-class education. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, it's quite, at face value, you kind of understand. He knows his claret from his Beaujolais. So the word claret is used by upper-class Englishmen to refer to red wine from Bordeaux. This stems from the old-fashioned for Georgian aristocrats to drink Bordeaux red as opposed to the other French wines. The lines therefore show that he has learned to distinguish between different types of red wine. He has a preference for the more sophisticated and expensive Bordeaux wine over the lighter and cheaper Beaujolais. And his expensive and therefore upper-class education has taught him to use the term claret, I can't remember how he said it in the song, instead of Bordeaux. So yeah, my goodness. And then we go on. I feel like I have to burp, but I think he'd like to have been Ronnie Cray, but then nature didn't make him that way. So it says the Cray twins were a notorious and violent pair of East End gangsters that were the leading organizers of crime in East London throughout the 50s and 60s. They mixed effortlessly with the upper echelons due to their successful nightclub business, while simultaneously making massive profits from illegal endeavors. Arrested and convicted in 1968, they both spent pretty much the rest of their lives incarcerated before passing away in 1995 and 2000, respectively. My goodness. Ronnie Cray. Yeah, the Cray, I never really heard of them, I don't think. I mean, I guess it's a British thing, but yeah, I'm surprised. Anyway, going on with the chorus, he thinks his educated heirs, those family shares, will protect him, that will respect him. He moves in circles of friends who just pretend that they like him. He does the same to them. Okay, so this is a common method by which the rich attempt to lessen their tax bill is to hide their riches in stocks and shares. It's a tactic used by nearly everyone with money, even the Prime Minister. It could prove to be a useful and devious way of escaping financial obligations, as Mohammed Al-Fayed proved and recently by converting all of his football club's debts into shares, effectively wiping the slate clean. So yeah, we're talking rich stuff now. And then we have the refrain, and then we go on with the second verse. He knows the swingers and their cavalry. says he can get in anywhere for free. I began to go a little cross-eyed, and from this charmless man, I just had to hide. So the music video for the song was directed by Jamie Thraves and is a parody of the 1993 movie Groundhog Day. Okay. Thraves has directed several other famous and acclaimed British music videos, including Radiohead's Just and Coldplay's The Scientist. So yeah, he's been around. My goodness. And then we go on with the chorus. He talks at speed. He gets nosebleeds. So it says stimulant drugs cause people to talk quickly and excitedly, instead of snorting substances cause damage. Hold on. Inhaled or snorted substances cause damage to the inside of the nose, causing nosebleeds. These two statements suggest that the charmless man inhales or snorts stimulants. All right. And then we have, he doesn't see his days are tumbling down upon him, and yet he tries so hard to please. This verse seems slightly ironic in retrospect. Following the huge sales of What's the Story More in Glory, the album by Blur's rivals Oasis Over the Great Escape, Blur's credibility began to fade. The band, and Albarn in particular, became seen as rock music for the middle classes, all singing with noses upturned and theatrics. Oasis went on from strength to strength as the brutish working class lads from Manchester. This resulted in Blur slinking away, only to return in 1997 with their self-titled, darker and heavier album that would completely shatter their previous image. So yeah, again, I mean, we're talking about Oasis and Blur. I feel like you can't talk about Blur without talking about Oasis, or vice versa. And either way, both bands will come up in some comments or in about a song and what the song's about, especially at this time of their careers. So anyway, yeah, great song. Really like the song. Like I said, I got more appreciation for it listening with headphones. And yeah, I mean, like they said, Oasis went on to be huge, especially with their What's the Story More in Glory album, which came out 25 years ago. Actually, there's a big thing going on because it was 25 years since it happened, and it was all over social media, I saw. But anyway, yeah, because that album was huge, and I mean, Blur couldn't match that, and then they came back in 1997, and I think Song 2 was on that album, which is like the most played Blur song where I live anyway, in Canada. But anyway, I guess that's about it. Thanks for watching. Sorry for tripping over some words and all that stuff. You know, it's gonna happen, but I feel like I just had to say that. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting. I'll talk to you guys again soon. And really appreciate all of the support. So yeah, have a good one wherever you are.